Take a quirky alien with a British accent, shove him or her into a blue police box from the 1960s, chuck in a young attractive companion for good measure, and then fling them both into time and space, and you have a recipe for a horrific accident. Because, well, we forgot to make that police box a time machine. But make that police box a time machine, and you might have somewhat less of a horrific accident. Or an awesome and extremely long-running TV show. That's right, Whovians and non-Whovians alike, this episode we're taking a look at Doctor Who, a show well known for its heartbreaking moments and goodbyes. No, I'm not crying, you're crying. Its countless shots of characters running. And of course, for creating one of the most iconic villains in science fiction history. Peter Kay in a rubber suit.
It tastes like chicken.
This show has lasted over 50 years and has seen many actors take up the title of the Doctor. So we're taking a look at one particular chap and his era in general and where it all started. Okay, well, not exactly where it all started, but where it all started. Again. Oh god. Okay, right. Where it all started. Again. That's right, we're taking a look at Christopher Eccleston's 9th Doctor and his era to find 10 interesting facts about them that you may or may not have known. So if you had questions like, what other actors were considered for the role of the 9th Doctor? What is the lowest and highest rated episode of this season? And, seriously, who thought this was a good idea? Doctor Who has had some questionable aliens in the past, but come on. Even Ricky Gervais's parody of Doctor Who looked better than this.
Leave me no alternative, Doctor.
Anyway, let's crack on, because we got the answers for you. Number 1. So the Christopher Eccleston era of Doctor Who started back in 2005 and lasted for only one season. This era of the show was intended to be a revival of Doctor Who, since the show hadn't been on the air since 1989, with Sylvester McCoy as the Doctor. This wasn't, however, the first attempt at a revival for the show. Back in 1996, a Doctor Who television movie was created and intended to kickstart the show. And oh boy, what a movie that was. This ultimately failed, of course, and so the show lay dormant until almost 10 years later. Eccleston's one and only season lasted for 13 episodes and included all the major staples of Doctor Who, including the TARDIS, a companion, the sonic screwdriver, rubber-looking aliens, famous foes like the Daleks and, mannequins, I guess? And even a regeneration at the season's finale where the Doctor changes form and therefore actor. The season was specifically designed to bring in a fresh new audience and allowed anyone who had not seen the show before to comfortably jump in. The Eccleston era began with the episode titled Rose, which first aired in the UK on BBC One on the 26th of March 2005. Number 2. So Christopher Eccleston played the title role of the Doctor. His Doctor was the 9th incarnation of the character within the televised canon of the show. The production team's approach to the character and Eccleston's portrayal were highlighted as being intentionally different from his predecessors, with Eccleston stating that his character would be less eccentric. To fit in with a 21st century audience, the Doctor was given a primary companion, Rose Tyler, who was designed to be as independent and courageous as himself. Christopher Eccleston's casting as the 9th Doctor was announced on the 22nd of March 2004. He was the production team's first choice for the character. Other actors linked to the role included Bill Nighy, Richard E. Grant, Anthony Head, Eddie Izzard, Hugh Grant and Alan Davies. Eccleston cited the quality of the scripts as a reason for joining the cast, stating in an interview that he was excited about working with Davies. Eccleston's Doctor came across as a more streamlined and stripped down version of the character. He also appeared to have a much more visible, darker side to him, being a haunted survivor of the Time War, a plot detail created specifically for the revival show and would later be expanded upon in later seasons. Alright, enough about this cheeky chap for now, we'll get back to him later, but first let's take a look at some other aspects of the era. Ooh, it's number 3. So as stated earlier, the first episode of this season was titled Rose and introduced audiences to the Doctor, Rose and many other characters that would make regular appearances in this and the next couple of seasons. The episode name had gradually been shortened. In Russel T Davies' pitch, it had been called Rose Meets the Doctor and the Journey Begins. Then it was shortened to Rose Meets the Doctor, before finally being shortened to just Rose. Also changed from Davies' original pitch were the names of the supporting characters. Judy Tyler became Jackie Tyler and Muggsy Smith became Mickey Smith. The episode featured a whole new intro for the show and a new take on the classic theme music. Right, that's it. Stop it. That's enough. I don't want to get shut down by the copyright police. Location filming took place in Cardiff, the headquarters of BBC Wales, in July and August of 2004. Davies offered Edgar Wright the opportunity to direct the episode, but Wright was forced to decline as he was still working on Shaun of the Dead. Rose was viewed by 10.81 million viewers in the UK, the most viewed Doctor Who episode since The Creature from the Pit in 1979. The pilot episode received positive reviews from critics, though there were some criticisms of its use of humour, because Doctor Who is not allowed to have humour, apparently. He fights rubber aliens, for Christ's sake. It's number 4. Since this season was going to be an introduction to the world of Doctor Who to a lot of new people, and was an attempt to bring back the show, the marketing team went in hard with their promotion of the 2005 series. The new logo was revealed on the BBC website on the 18th of October 2004. The first official trailer was released on the 2nd of December 2004 and then posted on the internet by the BBC.
You're going to see all sorts of things. Ghosts from the past, aliens from the future, the day the Earth died in a ball of flame. It won't be quiet, it won't be safe, and it won't be calm, but I tell you what it will be. A trip of a lifetime.
A media blitz including billboards and posters across the UK started early March 2005. Television trailers started showing up on the 5th of March and radio ads started 2 weeks before the series premiere. The official Doctor Who website was launched with exclusive content such as games and new 9th Doctor information. I got 5 on it. Oh, copyright strike. A rough cut of the premiere was leaked onto the internet 3 weeks before the scheduled series premiere. This attracted much media attention and discussion amongst fans, and caused interest in the show to skyrocket. The BBC released a statement that the source of the leak appears to be connected to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which responded by stating that they were looking into it. Oh, those troublemakers, eh? It's always the Canadians. The leak was ultimately traced to a third-party company in Canada, which had a legitimate preview copy. The employee responsible was fired by the company? What? It's number 6. To complement the series, BBC Wales produced a short show called Doctor Who Confidential, a type of documentary behind-the-scenes show that would give some insight into the creation of the episode that had just aired. The show would normally air right after the episode on BBC 3. 2 documentary specials were made for broadcast on BBC 1, incorporating materials from the Confidential episodes. The first was broadcast on the evening of the first episode, Rose, and was narrated by none other than David Tennant, prior to him being named the 10th Doctor. These episodes were not given the Confidential title and therefore separate from the series. Number 7, baby. Number 7. The highest rated episode in Eccleston's era, on IMDb at least, is episode 9, titled The Empty Child, written by Stephen Moffat, who would later go on to take up the role of showrunner on Doctor Who. This was also the first episode that introduced the handsome devil that is Captain Jack Harkness, played by John Barrowman. Jack would stick around as one of the 9th Doctor's companions along with Rose, and later would get his own spin-off series in the form of Torchwood, released in 2006. The lowest rated episode of season 1 is episode 4, titled Aliens of London. Oh gee, I wonder why that is. However, although being the lowest rated episode of season 1, it still holds a respectable score of 7.0 out of 10. You wanna know a secret? It's number 8. So as well as introducing new audience members to a new Doctor, Season 1 also introduced us to a whole new companion, Rose Tyler, played by Billie Piper. The companion character, intended to act as an audience surrogate, was key in the first series to introduce new viewers to the mythos of Doctor Who, which had not aired regularly since 1989. In promoting the series, both Piper and Eccleston highlighted Rose's heroic characteristics, whilst Davies highlighted her down-to-earth qualities and quintessential Britishness. In a 2013 retrospective on her time on Doctor Who, Billie Piper stated Rose's feminine characteristics contributed to her being a balanced representation of a female character. She felt that Rose as a character could be both strong-willed and vulnerable, and stated that her emotional response made her more interesting than a female character endlessly striving towards perfection. Eccleston described the character as a heroine who teaches the Doctor huge emotional lessons, and later added that she was the Doctor's equal in every way, except for the fact she lacks his scientific knowledge. Critics noted that the character was more developed, independent and equal to the Doctor than previous companions had been, whilst the character's overall role in the narrative of the first two series was praised. Piper won numerous awards for her portrayal of Rose, including 2 National Television Awards, and since her initial role in the series, the character has ranked highly in numerous Best Companion polls.
Good heavens, number 9.
A special effects milestone occurs in this season when the Doctor is shown standing in the door of the TARDIS and the interior is clearly visible behind him. In the original series, the interior of the TARDIS was usually shown as a dark void whenever a head-on view of the open doors occurred. For the first time, elements of the exterior of the TARDIS, specifically the inside of the doors and the police public call box lettering along the roof line, are visible from the console room. The TARDIS itself also got a redesign from what had been seen before. This TARDIS was much more colourful and vibrant than previous incarnations, but at the same time was also lit darker than other control rooms. A grated metal flooring and countless hanging cables were added to give the control room a much more used feel. The famous central control unit that usually sits in the middle of the room was also redesigned from a more angled console to a rounded one. The design would last for 3 more seasons before finally getting a makeover.
I say, oh chap, it's number 10.
Christopher Eccleston's last ever episode was episode 13, The Parting of the Ways. During this episode, the Doctor is forced to regenerate in order to save his own life after absorbing the time vortex. This meant that Eccleston would be leaving the role and a new actor would step in. Eccleston had wished to leave the show due to what had been reported as creative differences between him and some of the lead members of staff. Eccleston stated that, "I'd had enough. I wanted to do it my way, they wanted something else. We were never going to compromise, so it was best to be straight about it and just go." Eccleston, however, has stated that he holds no resentment towards the show, the character, or the casting crew. Eccleston's time had come and gone. And at the very end of the episode, audiences got their first look at David Tennant as the Doctor. David Tennant's portion of the regeneration scene was actually filmed much later than Christopher Eccleston's, and without the presence of Billie Piper. Tennant's segment was recorded with him speaking to a piece of sticky tape indicating Piper's eyeline, and then edited into the broadcast version. Both mainstream press and science fiction reviewers generally credit Eccleston and his incarnation of the character as helping to re-establish the show following its hiatus between 1996 and 2005. Eccleston won several awards for his single series, including the 2005 National Television Awards for Best Actor. And to this day, Eccleston's performance as the Doctor is praised quite highly, and some might say fantastic. Did you get it? Well, there you go, 10 facts about the Eccleston era of Doctor Who. If you like this and you want us to explore the next era of Doctor Who, let me know down in the comments. And also let us know what facts you can tell us about the 9th Doctor and his era. And if you like what we do and you want to see more, then why not check out our other film facts videos. Or if you want to help support the channel, you can do by liking the video, sharing it, or even subscribing and hitting the bell thingy to stay notified on future videos. Well, thanks for watching, guys.